picture, aren't we?
Yeah. Right, man in the van, finally getting out and about now because we've had 2 or 3 weeks off, no riding. I am sat in the van next to Irishman Stuart Edmonds. Stu, welcome. Before I start chatting to you, big shout out to Holeshot Motorhomes FXR, because quite frankly we wouldn't be doing this without them. As you can see, we've gone with the LED seductive lighting for Apico blue.
Yeah, I'm actually Apico factory racing blue.
Exactly. Stu, do you know what, before we go right to the start and talk about your career and coming out of Ireland, as we're at the Michelin MX Nationals Saturday, let's talk about your day today. You're already looking at me like I'd rather not.
I would rather not, but look, it's the way racing goes, isn't it? You either love it or you hate it. But today was a hateful day for me. But look, I wasn't all bad. I had a decent qualifying. I think it was 8th in qualifying. My times were decent. I just felt a little bit rough on the bike and couldn't quite picture or pinpoint what exactly was wrong with me. So made some changes for the first race, and I had a little tip off, and I think I finished possibly 10th-ish, which is all right. But I love
the fact pro racer, look, and you just dismiss it, so you don't even want to know where you didn't even bother looking where you actually finished,
because you just know you've had a bad race. And, so like it was okay, to be fair. I'm not myself on the bike, so I was like, there's something up with the bike, couldn't figure it out. So what we did was we changed the forks over from the practice bike, and night and day difference. But unfortunately the day just went from bad to worse. I had a neutral mid-air, I stalled it, and then the ball broke in the gear selector, and the chain come off in the same corner. Imagine that.
Well, I can imagine that, yeah. So what you're doing there, it's so much for the luck of the Irish. What's going on there?
I don't know. You tell me. I need to find some shoes and shamrocks and just rub them all over me.
Well, hopefully you're going to get good luck tomorrow. Obviously, tomorrow's looking like we might get some heavy rain, but I'm sure you don't mind that. Let's be honest.
You know me, I love a wet race.
You get enough of that on the Emerald Eye. It's not cool. It's not green because it doesn't get enough water, does it?
Nah, I'm like anyone. I don't like riding in the rain, but I seem to excel when it's a wet one.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Maybe I enjoy
I think
the mud.
being brought up in Ireland might have something to do with it.
I do like it. I do enjoy the mud. So I don't know. It might rain. It might not. It was supposed to rain today as well, wasn't it? So if it does, I don't mind. It is what it is. If we get the 2 races out, I'd be happy. If not, even better. I'm going to change the day for tomorrow. And a bad day today, but it's not always going to turn into a bad day tomorrow.
Not at all. The thing is, you're fit and healthy. We've had a rider, unfortunately, today had a bad crash in the youth category and went off in an air ambulance, so it can always be worse. Right, Ireland. I want to know more about that. I've done a few races in Ireland.
Did you?
Yeah, I did for Nick Craigie back in the day. I did. Yeah, I did.
Did you do Doon?
I did Doon.
Doon's an amazing track.
Amazing track.
One of my favourite tracks.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And then I came over at that Moto Circus thing a few years ago. Didn't remember, but I done Doon way back when I was riding for Nick. And there was another one. It was like was it a midweek thing? Name another couple of events over there.
Midweek. Was it midweek?
It began with
Tinker Hill.
Think I've ridden there.
International.
Tangeri or something like that.
Tandragee.
Yeah. There you go. I raced there. That's when they used to have an international, and I came over, and so the scene was good then.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, it's not as big as in, like, you know, the UK, Scotland, and whatever, but you guys, people like yourself, you know, and because there's so many of you that come over and race here, but what's it like back home? Why is it not routing? Is it just because there's not enough of you doing it?
I don't really know. There's plenty of riders like that are coming up. Regarding to the youth riders, there's a few fast kids that are coming up, but if you were to kind of look back when I was a kiddie and I was a youth rider, there was probably 20 riders all racing, and then I'd say 10 or 15 of them would have a good opportunity of being an Irish champion and stuff like that. Yeah. But and then possibly coming across to the UK. So where the transition is, I don't really know why not more people coming across, or where there's not more people coming up. I don't actually notice. You could probably pinpoint 5 people in the country that are starting to come up, and you're visibly seeing them that they're going to make something, they're going to do something. So I think lack of tracks is important.
I was just going to say that.
We had so many tracks, and so many of them have gotten closed down. And then for me, for me to go on an all-weather track that's open midweek and on the weekends, I have to travel 3.5 hours to McGilligan.
Right, so you got to go all the way up there.
I have to go all the way up to McGilligan, yeah. And it's probably one of the only tracks that I know someone's going to be there all the time. Philip runs it. He runs a great show. And it's probably the only one track that I can say, right, if I go, I'm on my own, I need to go all the way up there. I know I can get my motos in and I'll have somebody there with me. And then anywhere else down the south of Ireland, you have Wednesday nights in Calverstown. Some tracks run Wednesday evenings, but there's no actual full-time track open down the south. So that's like, I suppose,
is that just because the numbers doing it, or is it this classic same thing as well? It's just not well received in Ireland.
I don't really know.
Do you get a lot of people complaining about noise? In general, are most Irish, Irishmen and Irish women, are they just not really? It's not really their thing, which surprises me, because I don't know. I've always had the Irish down as just like loving life, loving a bit of action, they love all the different types of action. But like, I don't know, there's a lot of tracks been closed because of noise and stuff, and there's plenty of people, like kids now, like, it's a big thing that they're buying bikes, they're buying road bikes, they're buying new bikes out of shops, and they're going nowhere near track. They're on the roads, they're on the parks. Like, there's millions of them, but there is a lot of them that are fighting for tracks in their areas, and they're not being given to them. So there's plenty of people giving out about them riding in the parks, but they're not doing anything to give them a track or trying to produce a track. So this year, funnily enough, is actually the first year that the government are actually actively trying to do something about because they are literally,
they've seen a problem now. So
that's in a roundabout really odd way by them breaking the law and going and doing what they're doing and all that. Then they're kind of like opening up the chance to have some designated tracks.
Like it's unreal. Like I've seen fellas walking into CCM racing back on, buy a brand new bike, and I'm like, oh cool, when are you starting racing? He goes, nah, I'm going up and down the park on this thing. And like, you'd see a brand new Honda, like, or a brand new Husky going up and down the roads, and you're kind of going,
so that's the thing, and it's not, it gives the sport such a bad rap.
Such a bad thing, but like, with regards to racing, like, for now, the first race since COVID started in the south happened last week or the week before in Southern Ireland. So like, it's really hard for me to ride last year. Like, you've seen it yourself, last year I didn't qualify for the MX Nationals.
Yeah, because you wasn't riding.
We couldn't ride, we could barely train. Like, I got sent home by the police like twice, and I could actually see my house from the mountain. Like, I was probably a 5-minute cycle from the house, and he says, you're outside your 2k, and I'm like, no, that's my house there, and he still sent me home.
Is that right?
Yeah, I know.
Because I know they were more on it,
really strict,
over there than.
So I basically came from Ireland to do the first round of the MX Nationals with like a week's worth of riding on. And I was like, it wasn't good. I was breathing out my. I thought I was all right, but I was definitely breathing fairly heavy after the first qualifying session. So
and you're a fit guy. I know you take your training seriously. Like you said, if you're not riding week in, week out,
you can do all the amount of work in the gym and then cycle bike. And if you haven't got any time on the bike, it's half the battle. So they're pretty strict over there at the minute. So there's no Irish Championship on this year, because of COVID. They've run Southern Centre races and smaller races, and they do, like, there's like Gavin Craigie, he runs, and Nick Craigie, they run an amazing event, Moto Circus.
Brilliant.
So there is
brilliant.
things.
By the way, if you ever in Ireland or get over, when does that run? Around August time?
Usually it's around August time.
It's well worth going. It's a great event.
Amazing event. So that's kind of a stepping stone for other people or other tracks and clubs to kind of go, let's make something more fun, or try to create something a bit more fun. So, and if you were to ask me why people don't attend racing, or why there's no people going, I genuinely don't know. I can't pinpoint it. Like, I've been trying for years to try coach groups and do as much as I can to give back to sport, and like, my coaching scene is getting less and less. And I don't know if that's just because of what I'm doing, or because of just people just losing interest and stuff, and mainly getting insured on tracks back home and all that sort of stuff is really hard.
Because that's the other thing that for us in the UK, you have to understand, of course, you're still in the EU. We're not. And there's so many implications on that with different rules and regulations.
It's mad. Like, it's absolutely mad. So like, for me to go out on my own, I need to be affiliated. So I'm affiliated to the MCI, and any track that I go to, I have to have an ambulance and I have to have a permit from them.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, that's pretty much how it works. Or if it depends on where the track is, you could get away with like a paramedic and a designated, like something designated for the area like that. So, but I would very rarely do that. I'd always have some sort of ambulance there. It's a dangerous sport we do, and even though I'm coaching, anything can happen. Like, you never know what can happen. And like, I've had kids, like, I've had people crash and stuff before, and it's not good if you don't have an ambulance. So like, I was always going, thank God I had an ambulance that time. So that makes things a little bit harder. But I think for kids coming up, I think we kind of need to create more of an opportunity for them over there and give them a stepping stone to kind of go, look, if you do well here, you can get
Yeah.
to here, and if you get to here, you go to the GPs or the Europeans and stuff like that. So, and it's probably the same here. Like, it's,
Well, yeah,
you
it
need
is.
a bit of a stepping
It is.
stone to go
Absolutely.
to the GP. So,
I mean, clearly, you know, I know you're passionate about it, so you know, maybe when your riding career stops, you know, you'll be able to dedicate more time to try and get something moving over there. You know, almost like what Stu Flockhart is doing up
brilliant.
in Scotland, because he's making a difference.
Oh, that is brilliant.
There's
Well,
no doubt about it. Stu, keep up the good work.
Definitely, Stuart.
You know, it's,
I
I think
enjoy
it needs like an ex-rider to sort of get hold of it and try and
start
get
pushing
something
on.
moving
That's, as you said, like, because I'm racing, like I started kind of putting a bit more effort into the coaching 3, maybe 4 years ago, because I just genuinely thought, like, okay, I'm not getting much sponsorship. I had no real deal kind of organised, so maybe I'll do a bit more coaching and try get myself a job. So I started on working with a friend of mine doing garage equipment, and then the coaching started kind of going good, and then the job was flat out. And then out of nowhere, I got a ride for Apico Husqvarna, and then all of a sudden since then I've been like flat out. So I haven't been able to put the effort into it. As soon as I was like, oh, I might actually do a little bit more. So now it's kind of took away from the coaching side of things, and I'm kind of going, oh no. So I've had to leave work and then work a bit more on coaching and a lot more on my racing as well.
But a great opportunity. How old are you now?
33 years.
Yeah, okay. So
Young.
you know, you're edging towards the you know, edging towards. Well, having said that, you know, Ando's still been going. You got at least another good 7 years.
I see. The way I see it is, people say to me all the time, "You're getting old now. You're gonna have to give up." And I'm like, no, I'm a late bloomer.
Yeah.
Right. I've only started kind of coming to my prime in the last few years, so
I
think
this. This
there's
is good
at least
stuff.
another 5 or 6 years in me. Definitely. I always was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
Always was a late bloomer. So, like, some of the even the youth eras I was coming through, and I'd only start getting my aggression kind of later on in the years, and then as the pro career come on, I kind of only realised how to actually train.
Well, that's the other
later
thing.
on in the side of
Exactly
things.
that.
So
Experience.
age and experience is starting to kind
Absolutely.
of work a little bit better for me, and I'm a little bit smarter in ways. So maybe it's working me, where other times kids kind of, some other riders get a little bit more help, they get a little bit more pushing and so on their side of things.
Exactly. I think if you can avoid the major injuries, people, you know, with modern sports science and everything, you can keep yourself fit enough to ride.
I've got all the injuries, I've got all the scars. Oh, look at that bruise from today.
Oh my god, that's savage.
That's a freshie.
Well, that's even more savage because it's gone through your tattoo.
Yeah. Oh, so he tried lining it up and all. He says I'm going to line up for you, and it was mint. And then
do you know what? I think I'd be more devastated about that than anything else.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said to him. My tattoo's ruined. So yeah, I've definitely got all the injuries, but yeah, I think the most, giving it a bit of advice for injuries, the most important part is doing your time and making sure you're really looking after it, coming back, and then they don't really hamper you as much.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a really bad ankle, a really bad wrist, and a really bad arm, but I've done my work, done my strength and stuff like that, and they're 90% of the time they're pretty good. Like,
you don't get any noticeable lag from any.
The only ag I get is a little bit from my ankle. But the surgeon told me I wouldn't be able to walk or ride a bike ever again, and the first thing I said to him was, "Do you want a bet?" Yeah. So like after this weekend, if it's a really, really rough, hard demanding track or a sand track, Monday morning I wake up and it'd be like a rusty bolt in my ankle. I'll be warming it up, and then once it's loose again, I'm sweet for the week then. So that's about the only ag I can't really get. Everything else is pretty sweet.
It's good.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Apico deal. Obviously, you know, I've known Dylan not overly long, you know, obviously since he bought the company and whatever. It seems that, you know, they've put together a really good solid team.
Yeah, so Dylan and Nana, they're co-owners in Apico Husqvarna, and they basically have took me in like their own little son.
Right. Well, you're not little.
No, well, little to them, and younger in age. Like. But yeah, they've given me a room in their house because they understand, like, it's not easy. I don't have a lot of sponsors. I don't come from a rich family, so I put everything I can. Like this year I've emptied all my savings into trying to get as much riding in Spain and coming here and doing everything, and just putting all my sponsor money, everything I can, just putting it all on the table. So they understand the effort that I go through, and they just said, look, there's a room here if you need it. And they just basically treat me like one of their own, really. And the team is great, and all the people that work in Apico Husqvarna are really, really good, and the factory as well. They all like pretty much see me every morning. They're getting on washing me clothes and stuff. But yeah, no, it's good. The bikes are always really good. Dylan, he does all the bikes himself, he does preps them and all during the week. And then
yeah, because he loves it. I mean, he used to race. He
loves
obviously
it.
with his own bikes, his doer uppers is because he's got a load of he's got some Evos and all sorts, hasn't he?
He's got quite a few collections, and I do ask him sometimes, like, "Are you gonna let me take that for a run?" And he's just looking at me, and I'm like, "Okay." Well, no, he's really good. And then like Dave Russell, he just looks after me on the weekend. So like we're all a really good. It's like a family basically. The team is all the riders kind of pretty happy. Everyone comes onto the team, and we just kind of, it's one big hug. So I can't really fault them at all. I'm really happy with them. I enjoyed my time with them, and it's something that I kind of this year I want to give them some really good results, and I want them to be proud of bringing me onto the team. So that's as a rider, you know yourself, like that's
absolutely
that's what you want to do.
It's a big thing. I mean, listen, for all of us, it's been a very odd. I think that's the only a good way of describing it, because nobody ever thought we'd live through this and whatever, but it has. And so how have you coped with that? Because clearly momentum, it's just been difficult, isn't it?
It's been tough. So
particularly, I guess, for you, for you, because with like you said, you were back home, you couldn't travel, you couldn't ride, but then the team's over here, so you didn't even have, I guess, that regular connection. I know you couldn't go and see them because we all had to isolate and all that, but do you know what I mean? Like,
so this year, because back home is quite strict, so going back and forth to having to isolate and stuff, and even with the elite letter and stuff from a union, they still kind of they frown upon you come traveling back and forth. So I stayed here as long as I could, and I've kind of only went back once, and then I'm trying to like limit my time, reduce my time in traveling. But like managing it, like last year was kind of, obviously it was a shock to everyone, so it took me a while to kind of get into the swing of things, and training changed. Like no longer you could go out in the gym, go to the gym when it was raining. It was like you were training in the rain, sun, cold, snow, no matter what. So when I came around to this winter, when the gyms had opened up for a short period of time, all my training then became from mix of indoor and outdoor to just outdoor. So I just spent a lot of time on my mountain bike, it's just because it's the only place I can kind of stay off the roads and not being in the dark. If I was doing any work during the week or whatever, I'd go out 5 in the morning, lights on, sit in the mountains, and it's the only place you can kind of go out, get your training in, still feel relatively normal and not get tested by police or anything like that, because they're not in the forestry. So that's kind of how I had changed my training this year, so compared to last year, where last year you had the option of doing a bit of both, so you had to do your homework and what you were doing, kind of routine yourself a little bit more, and it's paid off. You can say and in Spain I just pushed myself. This time last year I actually made the decision, so I'm going to Spain. Because
you were there for quite a time. Obviously saw that, a lot of your vlogs, and then obviously your girlfriend Soph began, doing a lot of vlogs as well. I mean that's the place to be, I think, for now.
Definitely. Well, what happened with Spain was we went through Christmas, left after Christmas, and literally just before the New Year, Ireland went into like total lockdown again. So I was gone, but everyone was ringing me telling me like, don't come home because it's like it's really bad there. There's no tracks open. There's like, you're not going to be able to do anything. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like I'm sick here. Like I'm supposed to go home in a month. Like what? He says, just stay out there as long as you can. And in fairness, a lot of people like helped me out. My family done so much for me. Sponsors done a bit for me. Gavin Craigie, like Traction, they all helped me out a little bit. John Dunn Motors down in Cork, they helped me out as well. And I think it was kind of that everyone seen the effort that I was putting in, and they understood that, like, do you know what, he needs a little bit of help because he's staying out here for so long. And like this a mate of mine, I trained little Jordan Kinsley, I don't know if you remember.
I remember Jordan from the arena cross. Absolutely. He's cool.
I train him, like,
he's cool.
He's probably had 2-3 sessions since the winter time, like, and he keeps asking me, he's like, oh, when you come to train me. So I feel bad, but his dad has been amazing. Like his dad, anytime I was stuck, he runs a recovery company, East Coast Recovery it's called, and he's just like, look, I'm going to send you a bit of money, are you okay? And he helped me out, and he didn't need to, because my input was to Jordan, and he just seen the effort that I was doing. So everyone kind of put their little bit of help into me, and then along with whatever I had saved, I said, what's the point of me going home? I might as well just throw it all on the line now, and it's worth it. It's worked it, even though I had a bad weekend today. So
tell us then,
it's worked towards something good.
So from your point of view, like you said, you still want to go on for quite a while yet. You don't see yourself as being the wrong side of the hill.
Oh, definitely.
So that's cool. So what are the expectations? What pressures does Stuart Edmonds put on himself? What for you is a good result, a good weekend? Say either here at the Michelin MX Nationals or the Revo British or whatever. What do you expect of yourself?
I'm always going into a race wanting to win, and it doesn't like. Look, you always have expectations that you want to win, but you've got your kind of goals set. And with MX Nationals, I try to strive to be top 5 as much as I can, and the British pretty much the same.
Yeah.
They're good goals to kind of aim towards, and I'd love podiums more often, but just I'm so hard on myself when like you've heard me today, like I've probably rode okay, but in my mind, in myself, I'm like, that was a terrible day. I need to sort myself out, and I'm going very hard on myself that way, and I just need to train more, ride more, do more things.
Do you think you put more pressure on yourself because, like you said, you're kind of you're riding for a team, not to say doing it more for yourself, but you've hit the kind of nail on the head a little while ago that you're not from a rich family or whatever, so this kind of you're putting more pressure to try and prove yourself because of that?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, so I put everything into it, and I tried to be the best person I can be. So I tried to train the most that I can. I tried to ride the most that I can, and then when you put so much time, so much money into it, and you get very little return, and I'm literally I'm passionate about the sport. You put like, people don't see behind the camera, they don't see everything else.
They never do.
When you have like you're like I'm on for a good result here, and you make a stupid mistake, or you make something small that could have cost you a podium or could have cost you a win. Like last weekend at the British Ton, I could have had a win in the second race, but Brad was the better rider. I made more mistakes, and he just managed to keep it nice and smooth. But that killed me because I was like, I should have had that win. So
how long do you hold on to that?
2 days maybe.
Is it? Yeah.
Usually Monday comes along and like I go through everything in the head. I'm like, I made a mistake there. I shouldn't have done this. I should have choose my line there. I should have took it easy a little bit more rather than go a little bit harder. So then by Tuesday I'm like, right, now I need to turn things around. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's the weekend again.
Yeah.
You've got race mind in, and then you're doing it all over again. So Monday is kind of the reset day. What can I change? What can I make better? What do we need to do? And as I got, like what you said earlier, with age and experience, I've become looking at me as a rider and as a racer rather than just racing. So I'm trying to improve in everything. I'm trying to improve my fitness, trying to improve my riding. So it becomes a big ball of passion. So then, as you said, like when I expect something of myself and I don't get there, it's a big hit to me, and everybody sees it. Like they're like, he's really annoyed. So the hardest part of it is obviously money. That's what drives you to go to the tracks, go to everything else. So when you're kind of looking for your 10s and your 20 quids, and you're really trying to manage yourself, and you can't go here because you need to save for this, that's the hardest part. Managing your money and understanding like you've only got 100 quid until you get to next weekend, and if you get your prize money you've got like 150 quid.
So with that in mind and the injuries, has there ever been a time where you got close to thinking, why am I doing this?
Funny enough, that was like the pinnacle one where I really had to have a big thing, because I was having the best year I've had in a long time. I trained like very hard. I got rid of loads of weight, and I was riding very well throughout the year. Broke the arm, got myself back from the arm, and then hit neutral literally the first race back and broke at the bottom piece of the arm, and I went to rock bottom for I'd say about 2 months. And it was literally like, why am I doing this? I've put all this work in, I've put everything I could into this, and I've gotten this out of it. And then slowly it started kind of turning around again, and the passion started taking over the mind. And then you're like, no, you can actually do this better. You can go here, you can get better results. So that's what I think kind of drives me now. I've got a point where I want to go. I want to be on a podium consistently. I want to be mixing up with the lads. I want to be as good as I can, or as good as them. Like, I know inside I'm good. I'm probably better than some of them. Like, I can surprise myself, but just rolling things into each one and doing everything perfect is the most important part, and it doesn't always become perfect. You know yourself, races never perfect. So
yeah, it's hard to be perfect in this game. But you know,
I've got a big goal.
Yourself.
That's it. I've got a big goal, and I think the most important part is I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying. Like, even though I had a bad day today, I'm still enjoying it.
Talking enjoying it and big goals and whatever. Obviously, one thing, I never reached a level 2. I got no regrets about it. I probably knew from the get-go I wasn't good enough. Was to be good enough to represent your country.
Yep.
Let's talk about them, because from an outside point of view, whenever I go and cover it, or been to any Motocross of Nations, it's just amazing. So what's it actually like? I mean, particularly your lot. You got the leprechauns. I mean, what a great experience that must be for you guys. I mean, you must love it. Do you soak it all in, or do you actually feel the pressure of riding for Ireland, or do those guys, those fans, just make it?
That's literally what you said. The fans, like everyone that comes to support us, like the
leprechauns they're there now, aren't they? Like they are part of the MX Nations, like all the other nations, like Davey Coombs and all the guys from America that cover it. They love it.
Love it. Like I could tell you now, like my first ever Motocross of Nations I was picked.
Which was when?
2008 at Donington.
Yeah.
It was my first ever one, and like I remember that day I got the phone call. It was actually off Dave Russell's dad. It was Stephen Russell.
Right. Oh, Stephen, yeah.
Yeah, he told me, and I was like over the moon. And still to this day, the last time I rode Nations, 2019, Phil McCulloch rang me. He says you've been selected for the Motocross. I still get the butterflies and the goosebumps and like that feeling like I'm going to represent my country. And then I remember like the first race in 2008, yeah, we didn't qualify, but I remember going around and every single person in the whole track,
because everybody was behind.
It was like a wave. Everybody was behind us, and I was just like, what the hell's going on? And you end up getting into this, like, I don't know, this energy where you're like, I can go faster, I can go better. And like once you start seeing like all Italian flags waving with you, and like British flags waving, and there's every flag in the world, like, it's just like a little, you just get to from here to here and you end up finding 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden like you're battling for the leads and stuff like that. And it's
been immense, because you guys have almost made your reputation, for a better word. I mean, you're obviously good enough, but that constant, like, they're right on the bubble all the time. Are they going to go straight through, or they have to go through the B final? And it's all this like
carnage.
It's amazing. Like
it's absolutely carnage. It's great. I love it. Like it's so exciting, because I've raced MXGP, I've raced the MX2 category, and I've raced the Open, and it doesn't matter where we are. Like you could have your first race and it could be an amazing race, and you have your second race and it's an amazing race, and you're sitting there going, yeah, we're in, like these are good. And then all of a sudden, last person, it's down to the last person. You're like, in the Open class, we need 2 places qualifying, and you're like, like the best one was
so have you
Italy.
I can't remember the which ones races you've been. You must have been in a couple of situations where you haven't been in that last moto.
Yeah, so
you've been the other side of the fence, like everybody else.
Giving it lows, like we all get behind each other. Like I've been in MX2 and MXGP. Like the time I was in MX2, I rode the St. John's and Angela. Finished 8th overall MX2 in the MX Nations, but like it was, I think we still ended up having to do the B final. But I remember being on the other side of the fence going, come on, and you just need like 2 places, or it's like something simple to happen, and like it always ends up being down to 1 point, or like just missing out by that much. And like the boys from America, like they all get on, like Pub MX, he hates
big
it.
time.
He hates us.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
I think he actually, Steve loves us. I think he does. He technically loves us, but like because he talks about us all the time.
Absolutely, because like Canada are normally in the same position, like struggling to get in.
I remember him giving out Stuart Edmonds a murder bloody bar. But it's just...
So because I remember, so the last one, the Red Bud was, you went into, that was touch and go again there, wasn't it? Remind me what happened.
That's when I done my arm.
Yeah.
So that was a mental year. So I done my arm, and then like a week beforehand, Graham done his wrist.
Yeah.
So it was carnage.
It was.
So we had, who do we have? Martin.
But you still went through, didn't you?
I think they still got through.
On the B final.
Literally
again.
on the B final.
It was immense.
It was mad. Like I know I had a few drinks. So I was very, very lit. But I was lit with me. I'm giving it loads.
Yeah.
But that was a race I was like, I would have loved to do.
I bet.
Yeah, I've done.
So how many have you done?
So Well, someone asked me there the other day. I think it's possibly 10, 9 or 10.
That's
possibly.
Awesome. What'd you do? What'd you do with all the kit? You must keep at least
every single kit that I've had.
Yeah, you
so
must.
Sometimes,
and the helmets.
Some years we've had full kits. Some years we just have jerseys.
Yeah.
Keep all the helmets. The only one I don't have is the Italy helmet that got robbed on me.
Did it? Oh.
Yeah, it was robbed in Italy, so I had to use Graham's helmet. But yeah, I always keep the kits. Like that's something. I'm going to have a little. Right. I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to have a room for nations around. But yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing. Like to be able to represent your country for so many years is unreal. Like I've been picked consecutively every single year since 2008.
Yeah.
But the years I haven't raced is due to injuries.
When do they announce it for this year? It must be getting close.
I was told end of this month.
I'm trying to get a scoop.
I was genuinely told the team's getting picked at the end of this month.
Right.
So I don't actually know when they're going to do it. But like this, we've got really good riders this year.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's on their ball. Like obviously Jason's been injured. He's back on form again. Glenn's on form again. He's injured his knee a little bit. So it's going to be a tough. Like I've been on form at the start of the year, and I feel I'm going to go better at the end of the year again. So we're all going to be stepping up again. So it's going to be a tough team to pick. Jake's in MX2. Martin's obviously there as well. Yeah. So I think out of 5-6 riders, we've got like really good team no matter who we pick.
Yeah.
But just picking a team's going to be hard. Obviously to commit you back home. And Philip McCulloch, he's going to have to do the hard side.
Yeah, I'd hate to be that guy.
It's like I think what happens is the committee they make it a genuine decision, and then Philip has he puts the team forward, and I don't know who has actually the last say. Yeah. But it's not a nice job to do.
No, honestly, I wouldn't want to do it. Not that I'm going to get asked for it, but what I mean is, like Steve Dixon before, Rob Hare and Dave thought, particularly in our industry, because you know it, everybody knows each other as well, and then having to leave somebody out or make that phone call, I'd hate to do that.
There's always that sort of stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, every year like some sort of rumours go around or something goes around about me not being picked, and we shouldn't have him on the team, and like, that always happens. Like you always get people like that, and then eventually I get on the team and I end up kind of surprising a lot of the riders, a lot of the people that say I wouldn't perform. Like there's 2019 at Assen, I ended up being second in the B final. Like, and a lot of people, like, I got a lot of stick that year. Like, you'd be surprised I got a lot of stick that year, and a lot of people didn't really want me on the team. They wanted other riders on the team. But I went there to do a job, to represent my company, to race as fast and as good as I can. And I always do that. And it's important. So, like, when that time comes around, everyone getting picked and stuff, it's kind of like nail biting for me as a rider, because you want to be picked. You're like, I want to be picked up, but you never know what can happen. Like, never know what can happen. Like, there's today, like,
well, listen,
Jason rode really well,
absolutely,
and I had a shitter, but Glenn and Martin's not here, so you're like, okay, but who's gonna get picked? So there's always some sort of like spanner thrown in the works.
We're getting towards crunch time. We got a whole day. Philip's here as well, so
Philip's always watching, even though if you tell he's not watching, he's always watching.
So you need no pressure, but you need to get a better day in tomorrow.
And I know Philip's he's a good team manager as well. He does a good job. He organises.
He's ridiculously passionate.
He has his own really good team gear. He buys us new runners and everything every year. I don't know Philip well, but I've known him long enough from a distance to know how passionate he is about his racing. No, well, I'm looking forward to that. I always look forward to the Motocross of Nations because it's just so massive anyway. But there's no doubt about it, the Irish team definitely bring they just bring more to it. Everybody wants to support them.
Absolutely,
they always do. And the Americans, like, they're probably our biggest supporters. They love it because every single American is some sort of Irish.
Well, they absolutely in some way, shape,
quarter or half Irish.
Oh God,
But they always get behind us, and like, to be fair, Red Bull, I could hear everybody cheering for Ireland. It was great, and there was like groups of people around me, go Ireland, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So it's really nice to experience it from both sides of the fence, I suppose, being a racer and being a spectator, supporting the team too. So they all want to be Irish supporters and partly Irish.
Well, long may that continue, and look, good luck with it. I hope you get chosen for this year. That would be good. Certainly be getting behind you as always. Just keep up the good work, mate, and just goes to show you, you just keep going. I mean, he's a youngster, I can say that, because I'm 49 in a couple of months time, so he's young. He's got plenty of, look, he's got the guns on him, he's ready to go. Stu, always a pleasure.
Thank you
always
very
good
much.
talking to you. As you can see, Stu's not shy of talking. That's the Irish, obviously.
Yep, that's good.
You know, what's the myth again? Because it's the thing down in Limerick, isn't it?
What's it?
What? No, isn't there a stone or something?
Oh
that
yeah, the
people
Blarney Stone. Go
Bla-
kiss,
yeah, and then you're meant
kiss
to
the
get.
Blarney Stone. I need to go kiss that a few times.
Have you?
I need to go.
You need to
I
go.
need to go. That's
Because it gives you the luck, doesn't it?
needs to look, yeah. But I don't know. See, that's another thing. Closed because of COVID.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised because
Yeah.
people have got to
Oh,
go and
people licking the stone.
people go and lick it. I bet there's some people who do things on that with it. Yeah, I don't even want to go
It's
there.
a scary stone to be fair.
It's
Like,
just-
I'm telling you, you go up in a castle and there's a big gap between. You've got to kiss
Yeah.
it upside down and all. It's,
Have you?
It's mad.
All these myths.
Absolutely mad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
go and do that when you if you can get out of COVID.
4-leaf clover. And
You don't need
sweet.
the luck anyway. You've been on the team enough times. You're probably
Make
gonna
your own
get-
look, as they say.
Exactly.
I'm gonna make it look tomorrow. Watch
You-
tomorrow.
yeah.
I'm gonna turn it around tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, obviously, by the time this comes out, he would have raced. So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
You'll have a good one. Yeah. Look, keep up the good work as always, and I'll be commentating on this guy tomorrow.
Thank you very much for having me, and delighted to be in the man.
Yeah, man in the van.
I always
right.
listen to him, so it's nice to be
There you
able to see
go.
him myself.
That's it. Like I said, we've got the blue lights on. Now, look, let's go and eat. I talk about eating every man in the van, I've noticed.
I'm hungry as well.
But
though.
I'm always doing
I'm
these.
always
but
hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you have the last time?
I can't remember, but I'm gonna have chicken kebabs tonight, people. Why I'm telling you that.
I'm having salmon and rice.
Oh yeah, well you're an athlete. I'm not, and I'm actually. I tell you what, actually, I'm gonna have some of this with it.
A little beer, cheeky
No,
beer.
no, I'm not gonna have the beer. I've got. Where's it gone? Oh no, look, it's because I already opened it last night. There you go. That's my wine choice to accompany my chicken
Looks
kebab
good. It's red as
tonight.
well.
That is a Merlot from Chile.
Ooh,
Yeah, very posh.
very posh.
Right,
Right.
we're done.
Thank you
Stu,
very much.
we're out of it.
See ya.
Thanks for watching again, folks. Thanks to Holeshot Motorhomes and FXR as well. Right, Stu, all the best.
Cheers,
We're
bud.
done. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. See ya.